lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Let's go across the pond and try another American whiskey. Today, Bulleit Bourbon. Now, Bulleit Bourbon was a brand that was sold in the United States between 1830 and 1860. It was being marketed by Augustus Bulleit. But when he passed away in 1860, so did the brand. And it took until 1987 until his great-great-grandson by the name of Tom Bulleit revived the brand, and he produced the Bulleit Bourbon. Now, before we go any further about Bulleit Bourbon, let's first get this out of the way. How do you pronounce it? Because it is written Bulleit, right? And I remember I called it Bulleit Bourbon when I did my first rambling about this one. This is 4 years ago. Google it. It's Rambling 95, if I'm not mistaken. I did that in the front of the Colosseum in Rome, if memory serves. Anyway, I called it Bulleit Bourbon at the time, and somebody told me, and they said, it's not Bulleit, it's Bulleit Bourbon. And I wasn't sure, so I contacted Tom and asked him, Tom, how do you pronounce your name? How do you pronounce the name of your brand? And this is what he said. Well, son, I gotta tell you, I've been asked that question more times than I care to remember, but to be honest, it's easy as pie. You just pronounce my name like you would the ammunition. And there you have it. So, like the ammunition, Bulleit. That's out of the way now. So, Bulleit Bourbon. I didn't really ask him that, as you have probably already found out, but I did read it on the internet that the question was asked, and that was his answer. Anyway, so after the Bulleit Bourbon, there was also a new release called the Rye 95, a rye release with, of course, in the mash bill, mostly rye, 95%. But now they have a new one called the Bulleit Bourbon 10 years old. And the funny thing is, while most distilleries are now going away from age statements towards non-age statement releases, Bulleit Bourbon is going the opposite direction. Instead of the NAS, they now have an age statement and a 10 years old, no less. So Bulleit Bourbon 10 years old. And this one is bottled at where is it? 45.6% ABV. In America, the bottle will say 91.2 proof. But for us Europeans, that's 45.6% ABV. Now, you must realize that when Tom Bulleit revived the brand in 1987, he actually sourced his whiskey at the Buffalo Trace distillery. But for the past couple of years now, the brand has been owned by the largest drinks company in the world, Diageo. And they are now marketing this, but they're sourcing their whiskey elsewhere, no longer Buffalo Trace. Nowadays, this is being produced per mash bill, of course, per Bulleit Bourbon mash bill. It is being produced in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, at the Four Roses distillery. Right, enough history lessons. Let's give this one a go. The Bulleit Bourbon 10 years old, bottled at a 45.6% ABV. And as you can see, it's got this beautiful amber color. It's almost coppery, but the body is light. It comes down the glass very quickly, light body. It's going to be, I think, a sipping bourbon on the nose. The typical glue notes that I get, like wood glue, that I get on almost any bourbon, they are here, but they evaporate very quickly, making this a very, very sweet bourbon. I get caramel and vanilla, but then I get some banana, but there's some spices in there as well. I get some tannins, some herbal tea even maybe, and it actually turns quite candy-like on the palate then. Good body, oily, syrupy, clings to your teeth. Very sweet though, very sweet with caramel and honey. And something that reminds me of Cuberdons. Cuberdons are a Belgian candy, purple candy. We call them nozekies. Google it. I'll show you a picture there. There you go. Those are Cuberdons. Typical Belgian candy from Ghent, from my neck of the woods. Hence the association, probably. Anyway, spices as well. Mostly, I'd say, some black pepper, some coriander. But lovely. It's. I get some more fruit now, some cherries, some blood oranges, There's a lot going on here, and to be honest, if I remember correctly, this is much more refined than the no age statement version. Well, maybe that's not a big surprise. This spent at least 10 years in the casks, while the no age statement, if memory serves, around 6 years. So obviously this will be more rounded, softer, more accessible. On the finish, short, sweet, spicy. Triple S. Short, sweet, and spicy. Well, and there you have it, the Bulleit bourbon, 10 years old, and in the meantime, the sun is going down, so time to get indoors. So let's wrap this up quickly. This bourbon, you will be able to find this one for around 35 euros in my neck of the woods. And for that money, I have to say, this is bang for your buck, because this is very easygoing, friendly bourbon. It's the kind of bourbon that you will put on the table when friends come to visit. Maybe even around the campfire or something like that. Very easygoing, a sipping bourbon to relax with. 10 years old, better than the last in my opinion, but still very, very affordable. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the bourbon be with you. Bye-bye.